All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to peel back the layers on life itself. We're getting right to the core of what makes a living thing, well, live. It's a story that kicks off with a really simple question and ends with two totally different but equally amazing blueprints for building a cell. So yeah, let's start at the very beginning. I mean, it sounds like a question a kid would ask, right? How does life eat? But believe it or not, this question is the key to unlocking the entire biological world, from the tiniest little microbe to the biggest blue whale. It is the first problem every single organism has to solve.
See, here's the thing. To stay alive, every organism on Earth needs two basic things. It needs energy to power all its internal machinery, and it needs carbon to literally build its body. And the way it gets those two things, that defines pretty much everything about it.
I want you to think of it like a universal menu with just a handful of options. Every single living thing has to order from this menu. So, let's take a look at the choices, shall we?
Okay, so choice number one. Where are you going to get your energy? Life basically came up with two brilliant solutions to this. You can either look up and soak in the energy pouring down from the sun, or you can look around and start breaking down chemical compounds for fuel. So on one side, you've got the Phototrophs. The name literally means light eaters. These are the absolute masters of photosynthesis. We're talking plants, algae, that kind of thing, turning pure sunlight into life itself. And then on the other side of the menu, you've got the Chemotrophs, the chemical eaters. These guys are expert chemists getting all their energy by breaking down the fuel molecules they find in their environment. And this is where it gets really cool. You can start to mix and match these choices. So what if you get your energy from light and your carbon from CO2? Boom, you're a plant. What if you get your energy from chemicals and your carbon from eating organic stuff? Well, you're part of a very big club. This simple grid, it basically maps out the survival strategy for almost all life on our planet. So after looking at that whole menu, you gotta ask, right? Where do we fit in? It turns out our spot at the dinner table reveals a really surprising and super ancient connection. Yep, that's us. We are chemo-organo-heterotrophs. It's a mouthful, I know. But it just means we can't use sunlight, so we're chemical eaters, and we can't build our bodies out of thin air, out of CO2, so we get our carbon from the organic things we eat. You know, food. We eat chemicals for both our energy and our building blocks. But here's the part that might just blow your mind. You know who else is in that club with us? This little guy, Escherichia coli, or E. coli. That's right, on the most basic, fundamental, metabolic level, you and the common bacteria hanging out in your gut are running the exact same playbook. You both eat organic stuff to live. So that makes you wonder, right? If our core survival strategy is identical to a single-celled bacterium, what in the world actually makes us so different? Well, the answer isn't in what we eat, it's in the house we build to do the eating in, our cells. So let's start with the first blueprint for life, the one E. coli uses. This is the simple, super efficient, and wildly successful world of the prokaryotes. I mean, just look at this thing. It's a masterpiece of minimalist design. It has absolutely everything it needs to survive and nothing it doesn't. It's just a tiny, perfect, self-contained survival machine. And the crazy thing is, these cells are defined almost by what they don't have. There's no fancy nucleus to keep the DNA safe. It just kind of floats around in a region called the nucleoid. There are no little rooms, no membrane-bound organelles for different jobs. It's like an open-plan studio apartment. You've got ribosomes making proteins, a tough outer wall for protection, and that's about it. Simple and brutally effective. Okay, so that's the studio apartment. Now let's check out the second blueprint, our blueprint. If the prokaryote is a studio, this is a sprawling, complex, sophisticated metropolis. Welcome to the eukaryotic cell. And when I say sprawling, I am not kidding. The jump in size is just staggering. A typical eukaryotic cell can be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,000,000 times larger by volume than a bacterium. That's like comparing a garden shed to a skyscraper. And all that extra space, it's jam-packed with complexity. And here you can see the two major models, the animal cell on the left and the plant cell on the right. They've got the same core design, but with their own special features. But for a minute, I want you to stop thinking of this as a blob of goo and start thinking of it as a busy city that never sleeps. Let's take a quick tour, okay? Right in the center, you have the nucleus. That's City Hall, securely protecting the precious DNA blueprints. The mitochondria, those are the power plants, working 24/7 to generate energy. Ribosomes are the factories, churning out proteins. Then you have the ER and the Golgi. Think of them as a massive production line and shipping center, packing and sending products all over the city. And the lysosomes, they're the city's recycling plant, breaking down all the trash. But wait, what holds this whole busy city together? What gives it its shape? What lets it move? It's something absolutely incredible. It's a dynamic, internal scaffolding, a skeleton inside the cell itself. It's called the cytoskeleton, and it's this incredibly complex interwoven network made of 3 different kinds of protein threads. These filaments are the roads, the support beams, and the muscles of our cellular city, all rolled into one. First up, you've got actin filaments. These are super thin and flexible. They form a dense web right under the cell's outer membrane, giving the cell its shape and, get this, allowing it to crawl and move around. Next, we've got the microtubules, and you can seriously think of these as the city's superhighways. They're rigid, hollow tubes that stretch out from the center, creating tracks that all those organelles and little transport packages can travel along. And rounding out the trio, you have intermediate filaments. These guys, they're the steel rebar of the cell. They are ridiculously strong, and their main job is to provide mechanical strength, to resist stretching and keep the cell from being torn apart.
But this is the part that just breaks my brain every time. This whole intricate skeleton, it's not fixed in place. It isn't static. It is constantly, moment to moment, being torn down and rebuilt somewhere else. Imagine a city that rebuilds its own highways and support beams in real time while it's still working. That is what is happening inside you.
So think about where we started. A simple question: how does life eat? And we end up here, discovering that even though we share a basic strategy with a bacterium, our cells are these bustling, dynamic, constantly rebuilding metropolises. It just leaves you with this one last thought. If a single one of these cities is this complex, what does that say about the trillions of them working together, in perfect harmony, inside you right this very second?